Hi, my name is Loretta, or Trinity 6, and this is the Limitless Infinite, a space for you to align your mind to higher vibrations and higher frequencies. I'm just going to make this quick video because I recently had made another video about the power of the I am statement, and it is something that Saint Germaine has gone over. That's really where I heard a lot of it. I have heard that actually from someone else personally, but then was listening to the discourses and got more into it, and just kind of had this light go off the other day when usually I say mighty I am statements, and I've been trying to practice more throughout the day, really stating I am things to myself to keep myself in sort of positive, higher vibrations. Right now there's a lot going on with COVID and then all the fires, and I'm actually in an area where we just got evacuated, so there's obviously a lot of frenzied energy going around, but I was thinking the other day, you always say these I am statements to align yourself to how you feel or what you believe that you are. And I kept saying, I always like to say these ones like I am love. I think that one's really important because I feel like it taps me into the energy that I have within myself. It's really positive. And then I was having this thing because somebody who I met recently said this statement, and they are from Mexico, and they said, oh, this one, I think maybe we were even listening to Matthias Di Stefano, or they had been, and she said, oh, I have this powerful one, like yo soy. I am in Spanish is actually an ambigram, I think she was saying. Yo soy, so if you spell it backwards, it's the same. But she had said one that was yo soy Dios soy, which is I am God today. And I was like, oh yeah, that could be really a powerful one for certain people. And I know in the Saint Germaine discourses, they say one that is, I am always the victorious presence. I am God in action. And for a while, I've used that one personally before, and it can be very powerful. And I've made this other previous video about God, but then also about the power of you being you. And if you understand that, I made another video that has to do with you being sacred geometry. So you contain all the same beautiful information that source contains. And if you can really understand that, then that's why things like when you say, I am God in action, or I am God today, that's really where that's coming from, because you are just a smaller, more zoomed in perspective of the bigger whole, but exactly the same. You contain all the same information. But when I was saying it, I was like, I have this thing about the importance of being me, the importance of, in the video I made about sacred geometry, I talk about how you're choosing to project certain bandwidths of information for this incarnation, depending on whatever your purpose or your mission or your highest and greatest good is, or depending on whatever your past lives are. But I have this thing about, people going around, and I know a lot of people like to call themselves goddesses or gods, and God in action, and I think that can be very powerful for people at a certain level, but I get to this level of understanding where I feel almost where I want to empower me, myself, my energy. And while I understand that I am God, I am the same sacred geometry as God or source or divine source might be, that I want to not necessarily place the idea of what I am to a name that feels outside of myself. So even though I know that I am God, God is us too, and it kind of goes both ways. So I was like, I really want to feel this mighty I am presence, but it being me. I kept trying to think about saying that like yo soy Dios soy, like I am God today. But every time I hear that in my mind, I have this little feeling of like, when I say God, and I don't know if it's just from living here on planet Earth, and obviously the term God being used heavily in Christianity and Catholicism, and being tied to the history of those religions, because I was raised Catholic, but I don't practice it anymore. I get this feeling of like, wow, God feels like this being, this entity that's really not outside of who I am, but it's like I am a piece of God, but God is not exactly just me, if that makes sense. So like if you imagine God's source, and we're all these infinite linear projections of God. So we are the same, but God is sort of like a combination of all of us. And so I was like, I really want to connect with that part of me that's really me, and not necessarily like I want to know and believe that I am, that I am God's source and I come from that and I am this little zoomed in perspective of that sacred geometry, but that I want to know, empower my own individual frequency and vibration that is, considered a combination, or not a combination, but is like an individual strand of information that comes from the cumulative God source. And so I was like, wow, I really think this powerful statement, the most powerful I am statement I can say is I am me. And so I was like, ooh, I like that one, because I feel like when you say me, you lose all definition of yourself. You lose the individual. It's like, in a way, you lose all the sort of material, physical definition of you. To me personally, like when I say I am me, it's more this feeling that I have inside than it is a definition of who I am. And I thought that that was really important to, if you're having I am statements, to feel very empowered, to make a connection with that specific statement. When you say like I am this and I am that, it's putting a lot of definitions, and to me, in a way, can also be slightly limiting, because if you're saying, I am this or I am that, you're putting it more defined, you're putting yourself in a more defined state. And while in some ways that might be important when you're connecting with the physical world and you want to embody certain vibrations and certain frequencies to get things done in this physical dimension, when you're trying to make connections, I think in other levels and other dimensions, when you say I am me, you're really connecting to your energetic state, the energy that you are, the light that you are. And I just thought that that was kind of an important I am statement to make a video about, to help people feel more empowered about you. It's like you feeling your own vibration as an individual, because the individual frequency that you are, that is part of God's source, is still unique to you, but without necessarily having to have that part of your ego that likes to be very defined. Like when you say things like I am a woman, or I am Asian, in my case I am Asian, or I am strong, or I am light. It's maybe a little bit different, but all of those have like these like what I was saying before, these are all like bandwidths of information that you're projecting here in this physical world. And I am me really is this energy that you exist as, that has to do with everything you have ever been, everything that you are, everything that you will be. So it's a very deeper connection, I think. It's a deeper way to get connected to your own state, to your own being, to get connected to your different levels of consciousness that exist in the past, present, and future, because it has nothing to, I shouldn't say nothing, but it's not as connected to the very limited segment of time that we live this particular incarnation here on this planet. I am me is a statement where you're really connecting with the totality of your individual aspect, or your individual frequency as it has progressed, or as it's progressing through this eternal life, but in a way where you don't necessarily have to lose your complete individuality, but you're connecting to the sort of oneness that everything is. So anyway, I just wanted to make that quick video. I thought that statement would be really good to get out. I just actually want to get that out too, because it's like been in the forefront of my mind the last couple weeks, and I'm going to be posting another video before this, but hopefully wanted to kind of get it in close, because I just made the other I am video. And like I said, the I am presence, I learned a lot listening to Saint-Germaine discourses. That's a really great resource in order to find really powerful I am statements. But this is another, if you're looking for sort of a deeper connection, and to me it's about how you feel. It's like the I am me is more a feeling, whereas when you say I am woman, I am Loretta, I am this, you have, I think, to me, your mind starts to go into defining. There's more definitions, there's more words that pop up to help you understand what that I am statement really means to you. But if you just say me, it has this way of being you, but without a lot of necessarily definitions. But when I say it, I usually try to connect really closely to my heart chakra, to my heart center. So I am me, and I try to feel what that vibration feels like here. And like I said, and if you're consciously aware of connecting to the me, the idea of me that has progressed, you know, that has lived before, that is living now, and that will live after, you can get a really deep connection, I think, more so than when you make some other I am statements. And it's kind of the same when I say one like I am love. That one is more, that is like a feeling too that I get more so than like a definition of who I am in the physical world. So anyway, please feel free to leave questions or comments down below, and I hope everyone is staying safe, and I will see you in my next video.